Today, my name is Mr. Anthony. I will be taking you through the module Introduction to Entrepreneurship. The topic we have to discuss today is design thinking. Let's go. So, what is design thinking? You might think that design thinking is all about, when you hear the word design, you might think it's all about art or craft, but this is not the case. Design thinking actually is all about solving a problem. It's what you apply to a problem to get a solution. So look at the example given there. Suppose you have to catch a bus by night every morning and you have the following routine. Exercise, take your dog out for work, buy bread and milk for breakfast and do house chores. You can apply design thinking to solve this problem. According to Tim Brown, CEO of Ideal, design thinking is a human centered approach to innovation that draws from the designer's toolkit to integrate the needs of people, the possibilities of technology, and the requirement for business success. So, if you have a problem, either it has to do with your daily routine, or it has to do with your homework, or it has to do with entrepreneurship that is starting the business, you can apply design thinking to it and you get a solution. So, literally, design thinking is a process you can apply to solve problems that people face or to create a solution to what people want or need. It can also be applied to redesign or disapprove a process. So, who can apply design thinking? Anyone can, obviously. Design is not just how something looks, it's about how something feels and works. New products, design and redesign can be created by applying design thinking. An example of redesigning is how one can get a driving license without misusing or cheating the system. That's one great example. So, what are the features of design thinking? Let's go through them. The first one, design thinking is about creating things that people want or need. Okay? Secondly, it is not restricted to any specific field, engineering, medicine, town planning, administration. It is applicable everywhere. Design thinking is about how things look, feel, and work. Design thinking results in coming up with out-of-the-box ideas for a product, a process, or a service. We will talk more about this later on. And lastly, design, but not the least, lastly, design thinking is about solving problems. So those are the features of design thinking. Now, very important, the stages of design thinking. We have 5 stages of design thinking. The very first stage is empathize, or you can talk about empathy. Now, you must understand that there is a difference between empathy and sympathy. To learn more about this, you can go on the IUM LMS and you will see the video on empathy. But first, what is the empathize stage? The empathize stage is the first stage of design thinking process, and this is about gaining understanding or empathic understanding of the problem that you're trying to solve. That is, you're putting yourself in the other person's shoes. You are immersing yourself in their physical environment to understand what they need in order for you to solve the problem. Empathize. The next stage of design thinking is to define the problem. During the define stage, you put together information you have created and gathered in the empathize stage. Remember, when you try to define the problem, it must be human-centered manner. In the defined stage, you will start to progress to the third stage. And our third stage of design thinking is ideate. During the third stage of design thinking process, designers are ready to start generating ideas. Remember, just like in a defined stage, that idea must be human-centered problem statement. When you define the problem, make sure it's human-centered. because you're trying to solve a problem for the society at the end of the day. But ideation has lots of process. There are ways you can ideate. We have ideation techniques. And these are the ideation techniques. You can brainstorm, brainwrite, think about the worst possible idea, and scamper. Those are ideation techniques that you can apply to the defining the problem stage in stage two. The fourth stage is to build a prototype. Now, the design team will now produce a number of inexpensive scaled-down versions of the product or specific features found within the product so they can investigate the problem, solutions, and generated in the previous stage. The prototype is a stage where you build inexpensive scaled-down version of your product, or it could be a service. And we are expecting that you're working with people or a group of design team. An individual does not start a business. Remember that. And also remember that the prototype phase is known as an experimental phase. And this leads us to the final stage of design thinking, which is the test. Here you have to test rigorously the complete product using the best solution that you've identified during the prototype stage. Now, it's very important that once you get to the final stage of test, if you run into a problem, you will need to go back to the ideate stage to brainstorm again and think about the worst possible ideas, build a prototype, and come back to the test and test and test. Now, these are the five stages of design thinking. Remember, the steps are to empathize, define the problem, ideate, build a prototype, and test. You need to arrange all the stages in a chronological order as explained. So, a question could be asked: define design thinking and explain the phases of design thinking. I hope you understand how to answer this question. If you have any question, you can always drop a comment on this video, or you send a question on LMS and I will respond to it.